And welcome back to my channel. My name is Gene. I am really excited to do today's video because I hit a milestone this morning. I now have 900 subscribers. So to all my subscribers, I really want to give you a heartfelt thank you for your support. I have a lot of gratitude around this because when I started my channel, I really didn't even intend to start a channel. I bought a bag. There was nothing on YouTube about this bag before I purchased it, and I didn't like it. And there were construction issues around it, which made me not like it. So I did a video because I thought, I'll throw a video up. If it helps somebody else, great. And then it kind of snowballed from there, and I was nervous to do it because I thought, who's going to be interested in what I have to say? Am I going to be sitting here like 2 years later feeling bad because I have no subscribers? So just seeing those subscriber numbers go up make me really happy because that makes me think people are valuing the content I'm producing and what I'm saying. So thank you so much to my subscribers. I really appreciate it. If you are new here and you love handbags as much as I do, please consider subscribing as well. I would also appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up and tap that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. So I thought today I would do a video about my luxury mistakes. When I started my handbag journey, there was no blueprint or manual to follow, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And I'm making mistakes today, albeit less mistakes than I was making at the beginning of this journey. But I thought I would take some time to talk you through some of the big mistakes that I made. So I do have some notes over here. So if I'm looking this way, it's because I have some notes on my iPad to reference so I don't miss anything. So the first mistake I made was just not buying luxury or not buying what I want. If you scroll through my channel, you'll see, based on the videos I put out, what my journey really was and what I was buying and when I was buying it. And in the beginning, it wasn't far after I posted that first Troubadour Adventure Tote video that I started looking at Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Saint Laurent and Hermes and all of these luxury brands. And I just thought, that's crazy. The prices are crazy. I can't do it. I won't do it. I will be satisfied with less expensive brands. So I was buying Dagny Dover and Dooney and Burke and Peak Design and Cambridge Satchel Company and Fial Raven. They're all listed there, and they are good bags. They're all good quality bags for the price you pay for them, certainly. But I was buying things that I was settling for things, I would say, because I thought, oh, with these prices being cheaper, I can have more than having less of what I might really want. So that was a mistake. I don't have most of those bags anymore. Almost all of them are gone. All of them except from the Cambridge Satchel Company bag to the beginning, all gone except the YSL tote bags. So I bought a lot of shit, and I could have used that money to get a Louis Vuitton. And I'd rather have one Louis Vuitton than those 10, 12, 15 bags or whatever they were. So it took me a while to learn that lesson, and I graduated from those type of bags to more expensive bags like Coach and Senrev and Aspinall of London. Again, those are other great brands, but I don't like to use the word settling in that case because the quality is really good, the construction's really good, the bags are beautiful, but they still weren't what I wanted. I wanted Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Fendi and all of those, but I could justify spending $600, $700, $800 at the time. I couldn't justify spending $2,000 plus. So effectively, I was settling again by purchasing those brands. I'm glad I have them in my collection today. And so I will say those aren't gone. I still have the Senrevs, the Aspinalls, and the Coaches. So I misspoke a minute ago. I still have those. I'm glad I do because they're more, what is the word, nondescript. They're not as loud. And when I go to a networking event or a work event, I don't know. For me, I would feel kind of silly carrying a loudly branded designer handbag. So my two Coach Rogues are perfect for that. My Aspinall Regent Tote is perfect for that because they're just basic, not in the negative connotation of the word basic, but they're just basic bags that don't scream their brand. I don't worry about setting them down and leaving them. I'm certainly not going to set down a Louis Vuitton or Dior bag and walk away from it. I would be too afraid somebody would take it. So I finally started thinking, okay, I'm gonna spend the money and sort of buy what I want. And there's a couple examples there. So the next mistake I made was not buying what I really wanted to buy in that moment. Not buying what I had decided I wanted to buy and buying something else instead. And that mistake was made almost a year ago when I was in Paris when I picked this up. This is the Rive Gauche. Gouche. I'm not quite sure how to say it. I thought it was Gouche, and a friend who speaks French last night, I think he said it's Gauche. So whatever. But I picked this up in Paris at the Saint Laurent store on Avenue Montaigne, which is, if you're not familiar with Paris, it's an avenue off the Champs-Elysees, and it is the premier shopping avenue in Paris. Every single luxury brand has a boutique on Avenue Montaigne. So I decided during that trip that I was going to go and get the Rive Gauche tote bag from Saint Laurent. So I was really excited when we got in the store. And the reason why this was a mistake is because I really wanted this one. I wanted the larger east-west, not the smaller north-south. They didn't have this in stock. They had a couple other colors like a army green and the black of this bag. The black's too much of a lint trap for me, and I'm way too OCD to deal with lint. I would be brushing it off all the time. Like I wipe my phone screen down like 100 times a day. So they didn't have that, but they had this, and I managed to convince myself that this was a better option because it was smaller and it can fit under an airplane seat, whereas this one can't. That's true, but if I do a side by side here, it's not that much smaller. It's a few inches smaller on the length of the bag, and it's actually a little bit taller on the height of the bag. So it's not that much smaller, but it will fit under a plane seat. The bigger one won't. I also convinced myself that, I would use this more often because it is smaller than the larger one. And when I got back, I liked using this, and that made me want this one even more. So I ordered this one, and I actually got a good deal on it from a British retailer. But I ordered this one, and I used this one a lot more than this one. For example, I went into the office yesterday, and in preparation for this video, I've been thinking about it all week. I said I'm going to bring this as my work bag. I packed it up Thursday night. Yesterday morning, I switched it up and I took this one instead. I just like this one better. In hindsight, I wish I would have taken the sales associate's offer to check at another YSL store in Paris to see if they had this one, but I just got caught up in the moment. This was my first designer handbag. So I got caught up in the moment. I got caught up in Avenue Montaigne. I was nervous as hell to go in the boutique to begin with. I'd never been in a designer luxury boutique before, and I was really nervous. You just get nervous like, are they going to judge you and think, why the hell is he here? Why the hell is he thinking of buying this brand? Like, he's wearing that or whatnot, which was not the case. That was the nicest, most wonderful experience. But I walked out of there convincing myself that I wasn't settling for this when in fact I was. And I tried to sell this on Fashion File a few months ago, and they offered $300 for it. And I'm just like, that's ridiculous. That is not worth it. I'm thinking of selling it, but I will put it on Poshmark and hope I get more for it. I'm not sure what it retails for now. At the time in the US, it was, I believe, $1,100, and I got it for like $900 because it's cheaper in Paris and you got the tax back. But $300 is not worth it to me. That's like the price of a Marc Jacobs Traveler tote, which I reviewed those. I had 2 of them. They're gone. Nice, nice bags, but this is just a lot nicer. It's better quality, it's better construction. So I just don't think parting with this for $300 is worth it. But my big lesson there was don't try to convince yourself that what your heart was really set on is not the best option. Um, because my heart was set on this. I had watched like every review on YouTube on it for months and months and months. And I was like, I can't justify spending, I think it was $1,200 at the time. I got it for $1,000. But I just thought I can't justify spending that money. But my heart was set on it. So I wish I would have made it happen while I was in Paris. The next luxury mistake I made is absolutely the biggest mistake I have ever made. And I call that mistake the busted Belmont. The mistake wasn't purchasing this bag. This is not my first Belmont B-Buzz 23 with the canvas and the black lettering, with the brown leather trim. It is my second bag. I'm not sure, I might have mentioned this in another video, but I've been very embarrassed about this. But the time has come to tell the story of the busted Belmont. So I had seen a video on YouTube from a woman who applied Scotchgard to her Dior book tote. Like the Dior book tote, the canvas here is not coated, which I think is really stupid and lazy on Belmont's part. I was so terrified, and I still am, maybe not terrified anymore, but I'm nervous about spilling something on this because it's not coated. It's going to soak right in. If a glass of red wine falls off a table and hits this, there's going to be red wine soaked in everywhere. Her video was great, and the Dior book tote has no leather and no hardware. So her video was great. She sprayed a light coating, she waited for it to dry, and it was done. I'm one of those people that thinks more is more, and I'm obsessive compulsive. So I over applied the Scotchgard. I applied it so much that it was basically wet with Scotchgard. When it dried, it was discolored. So then what I did the first stupid thing was to just do something I saw on YouTube. She said in her video, like, I'm not recommending you do this. Your bag is your bag. But it was stupid to do it because it's 2 different bags. The second stupid thing I did was I tried to wash it. Not in the washing machine, of course, but I tried to wash it by hand in the sink with soft soap because of the discoloration. So that got the leather wet. You're not supposed to get leather wet. At the time, I really didn't know that. I thought, oh, it's treated leather, it's coated, whatever, it'll be fine. So I got the leather wet. I got the canvas soaking wet. Stupid thing number 3, I took a hair dryer to it to dry the canvas because I couldn't wait for it to dry on its own. I had to see if the discoloration came out. That completely destroyed it. The leather was warped and wrinkled, and the structure of the bag completely was a mess. It was busted. So I threw it up I just opened my closet and chucked it up on my top shelf, tried to get it out of sight, out of mind. The next day, I was just really pretty broken up about it. And I thought, I can't live without this bag, so I had to order it again. Now, the first one I paid about $1,400 for on Beltini. It's a website like Farfetch. They were selling a boutique in Italy was selling this bag through Beltini, and my experience was good with them. So it was $1,400. Unfortunately, they didn't have it when I busted it. So I ordered it directly from Belmont, and it's like $2,000. So I made a $1,400 mistake, essentially, or you could even quantify that as a $2,000 mistake because I had to replace it. So with that, I learned, don't fuck with your bags. Don't do shit. It would have been better if I had gotten something on this and then tried to figure out if I could rectify it. Will that happen? Maybe. I definitely destroyed it when a maybe might happen in the future. So that's the story of the busted Belmont. Now I just let it be what it's going to be. And if something happens to it, I will search YouTube. I will go to dry cleaners. I will try to figure out how to rectify that. So there's tons of videos on YouTube of things that people do with their bags in different ways, like putting olive oil on the Louis Vuitton vachetta leather to get it to darken. Not doing that. No way. If you're going to do something, test it in an area where it doesn't matter much. Probably would have been good if I maybe just sprayed a little apple guard up here and then seen if it worked rather than doing the whole thing. So just be conscious of that. Everybody's different. Don't make a mistake like I did by doing something with your bag that you see somebody else do with that same bag, or in my case, a completely different bag. I would not have ruined a book tote doing that if I had just done it like she did it. Next mistake I made was at Burberry, and that was by buying this bag here, the medium pocket bag. I saw this bag on Instagram, I think, for the first time, and I thought it was really cool looking, beautiful, unique, interesting. Still think all those things. I think this is a really cool looking bag. I saw it, and then I rushed a couple days later to the Burberry boutique, and I didn't really specify exactly what I wanted to look at when I went in. When the sales associate asked me what I wanted to look at, I said I wanted to see some tote bags. So she pulled out this one, and then she pulled out another one, which I'm going to pop up on the screen. I liked the other one better, actually. The reason I didn't buy the other one was because it was $300 more. Ridiculous. I got this one to save $300. I would have been okay with that, actually, until I got it home and saw a surprise. And the surprise was, in the boutique, on all the shelves, these were all standing upright. And you know what I'm going to say if you've seen my other videos with this bag. But they were all standing upright. So, because that was my concern when I saw this. Is it going to stand upright? So I was like, oh, great, it stands upright. And when she was showing me, we really didn't have it standing up on its own. You know, we were looking inside, putting it on the shoulder, looking like this, setting it down like this. When I got home, I saw that they were all standing up because they had a pouch of stones in them, which actually, if you can see it, I'm not sure. Yep, you can see it. It stained the bottom of the bag right down there because I kept that pouch in it even while I used it to try to keep it to stay upright on its own. It's just not designed to do that. You can see down here, it's designed at an angle like facing this way. So when it's flat on a surface, it's already leaning forward. Then when you put stuff in the pocket, it tends to tip over. If you have a bunch of stuff in here that's heavy, it will stand up straight, but it doesn't stand up straight on its own. And that is really a huge bummer for me. I don't really want this bag laying on the ground on an all white canvas. Now it is coated and the build is really great. It's really nice. It's beautiful. I love it. But in hindsight, I wish I would have gotten the other bag because as you can see from the pictures I put up, it does stand up straight on its own. It's also got a zipper closure. And that was the other thing. If this thing is going to keep falling over, our thing's going to spill out. So kind of torn on what to do with this one. I also tried to sell this through Fashion File and they offered $600 and I paid $1,800. And to me, it's just not worth it to take that huge of a loss. So I may list this on Poshmark. The upside of Fashion File is you get your money right away. The downside is the commission cut they take on it means you get less money. The upside of trying to sell yourself on something like Poshmark is you probably are going to get more money. The downsides are it might never sell, or it might take a long time to sell, or you might have problems with the buyer. And that's what I worry about. I worry about sending this off to a buyer and then them reporting that it's a fake and returning a fake to me. Like, I have legitimate worries about that because you can get good quality fakes of this bag. So who's to stop somebody from paying 300, 400 for a high quality fake and then getting a real one because they conned me? So I don't know if I'm being overly worried on that front, but I am concerned about that. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to try to sell it for like 1,000, maybe 1,200. And if I don't get that, I might just keep it. And if you all have any advice on that, I would really appreciate it. The next mistake I made was buying just to buy, and it was another YSL mistake. And that was this. This is the like chevron wallet in the tan color with the quilting. I'll throw a picture up. This is like the envelope bag that I really like. I love the envelope bag. I think it's really beautiful, and it would be a great size to fit. I think an iPad would fit in there. So I've always wanted that bag, but I think it's just too feminine for me with the chains. But I did go into YSL. This was probably like 6-8 months ago to look at it. And yeah, I decided I really, really need to think about this. And instead, I decided to look at the wallets. And they had a bunch of different wallets with the chevron pattern in different sizes. And so I bought the wallet. I should have just walked out. I bought the wallet. It is beautiful. It has the YSL logo. It has the chevron pattern with the puffy quilting. It's got a zippered coin purse, I guess, or coin slot. And then it's got, room for money and cards in here. So it's a great wallet. The problem is it's so big. And in my smaller bags, it just takes up too much room. Compared to my Louis Vuitton micro wallet, if I put this in my smaller bags, it has to go in like this. And I'm thinking the small Dior camp bag and the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis. So I have to put it in like this versus this one, which can go in like this. You see, it's just as tall this way, but look how much room I save by using this wallet versus this one. Or this Dior saddle wallet, I guess you could call it. I love this. I've been using this since I bought it maybe a month or so, a month and a half ago. It's got card slots there. It's got a pocket for cash, and it's got a card slot on the back of there. Now, this is bigger than the Louis Vuitton, but it also fits this direction in my smaller bags. So just like the Louis, it saves a lot of space. And this is just too big. I don't switch out my wallets very often. Like I said, I've been using this exclusively since I got it. I will at points, I'm sure, switch into this one. I love this one, but it's too big. So the mistake here was not thinking about the practicality of it and just buying something to buy something. Like, it's okay to go into a boutique, look, and not buy something. But I always want to come out of there with something, because when I go in, I'm like, oh, I want to buy something, and roll it back, think about it, and make the necessary passes. Because I don't remember the exact price, but I think it was between $500 and $600, and you buy a few of these and there's a bag. So may sell this, may try to force myself to switch things out more. Maybe that's what I need to do, is when I go to work or I fly or whatever, maybe I use this one. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. The last luxury mistake, and most recent, well, that's last, I guess, most recent at last, is this beauty here, the Louis Vuitton Clooney in the MM size. The mistake I made here was buying it solely because it's beautiful, and it is beautiful. I think it's a beautiful, stunning bag. It's gorgeous. It's got a nice silhouette. You can carry it by the top handle. You can attach a shoulder strap here, and if you clip the shoulder strap to the front on the left side and on the back on the right side, the strap will cause the handle to stand straight up when it's on your shoulder, which is really nice. The two reasons why I think this was a bad choice is, first of all, because of my OCD. It has this magnetic closure, and I will add, I hope that focuses in it and you can see it, but that hardware is scratched all to hell, and it was scratched all to hell after using it for just a couple hours. I don't really care about that because it's a magnet and it's under there. The other thing I don't like is that the closure doesn't always find itself, well, of course it is now because I'm filming, to really do a perfect alignment between the canvas panel underneath and the flap. So sometimes it will latch like that. You can't even see the bottom of these flowers and stars because it didn't latch in the correct position, even though there's a magnet here and over here and in the center. So when I carry it, I constantly find myself angling it like this and looking and trying to align that pattern up perfectly. So yeah, see, I don't think it's fine right now. A little off over here, but I don't like that. I also don't like that the handle has softened up, so it flops around a lot more. And just, in terms, maybe not softened up, but the hole here where it's going through the D-ring has expanded a little bit over time. So I've only used this a few times. I do love, if I didn't say that it has the back pocket. I love the look of it. I'm really torn here on selling it. What's making me lean towards selling it, and which is why it really became apparent to me that purchasing this just because it was beautiful was a mistake, is because when I got the Alma, at the time I got the Clooney, it sort of happened by mistake. I was thinking about getting a Speedy, and I went into Louis Vuitton to look at the 25 and the 30 sizes of the Speedy. I think I will eventually have a Speedy. I'm really biding my time on that because I'm not sure if I want the 25 or 30, and I'm not sure if it's the best bag for me. So I'm doing my due diligence with the Speedy. But when I was leaving Louis Vuitton, I looked up on the shelf and I saw this and I was like, what the hell is that? And I came home, went on their website, found it, watched a couple reviews on YouTube. I thought it was really beautiful. I went back the next day and bought it. Then right before my trip, I went in and I bought the Alma in the PM size. They are almost identical in size. Their length and height are basically the same. On the width, they're very close. The Alma has a wider width on the bottom, but the Clooney is wider in the middle and up to the top. So they really can hold the same amount of things. I think this can hold a little bit more because of the wider base, but they are essentially the same silhouette. So I'm starting to think, when would I ever choose the Clooney over the Alma? And this is my favorite bag right now. Hands down, my favorite bag. It's classic Louis Vuitton. It's beautiful. I think it was first launched in 1936, so it's been a staple for, 85, 90 years. It's just beautiful. I love this bag. I love the top handles. I love the zippered closure. I love that it unzips all the way down and then has the lining here creating a barrier so your stuff doesn't fall out. But because it unzips all the way, the mouth opens so wide. This, if you saw my Vienna video, I used this as my underseat carry-on. I carried it around with a shoulder strap a couple of days while in Vienna, and I just absolutely fell in love with this bag. It is my favorite. So now I'm trying to really decide, do I want to part with this and use the money to buy something else, or am I being hasty in that decision? Is there or are there scenarios where I would choose this over this? Maybe when it rains, I don't know. This has just a much smaller amount of a shed of leather than the Alma does, but I just don't know. So I'd love your thoughts. Should I sell this or should I wait it out and not be hasty? Because the one thing I don't want to do is sell something just to sell it. So that's it for the video today. I hope some of you found this helpful, but I would say my advice, if I could go back and tell myself 2 years ago, if I could give myself 2 years ago advice, I would say don't settle, buy what you want. Do not try to talk yourself into another choice. Don't buy something just to buy something, if I didn't already say that. And don't buy something just because it's beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful bags in my collection, without a doubt. But don't buy something just because it's beautiful. You have to consider how it's going to fit in your life and how practical it's going to be for a day-to-day use. And then lastly, and most importantly, don't fuck with your bags. Don't do things to them that you see on YouTube. Like I said, I'm not blaming that woman who did the Dior book tote Scotchgard video at all, because she did it correctly. I'm blaming myself for not realizing, well, that bag doesn't have leather and hardware. Maybe that's not a good idea. So just let your stuff be your stuff. Did do this with Apple Guard, but I watched a lot of videos before I did it, and I was really really careful. So just make sure you don't make a huge mistake like I made, and just enjoy and get what you want rather than saving money, because you're never going to be satisfied. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you again for your support. I greatly appreciate it. Bye-bye.